A fine chocolate man who was a popular jock in college, footballer, who all the girls flocked to, wanted her. Sign me up.
I was so excited to be getting married.
Sometimes after going for the appointment with him, she will pass by the stairway and see other girls also going for their D appointment. Like, this is ridiculous. Welcome, my royal babes, back to the channel. This is your Queen Angel, and today our topic is on Denaya Jackson and her interview on Is It My Future Wifey? Let's get right into the video. Okay, so who is Denaya Jackson? So she was basically the ex-wife of Derek Jackson. I'm sure a lot of people know him. He's the relationship guru who turned out to be the worst cheater narcissist ever. She went viral for her bonnet video when he brought her out to basically disgrace her in front of the whole world that yes, I've been cheating. This is my wife I've been cheating on. And because of the bonnet, it was not even a bonnet she was wearing. She was embarrassed and spoken about all sorts of things. He divorced her, went for other women like he has been doing, and she's now here to tell her truth or their truth. For one, people seem to underestimate how much abuse can lead to toxic relationships. She was sexually assaulted by a familiar person when she was 19, and after that happened, she met Derek Jackson, her savior, literally 3 weeks later. That the devil brought him in her life at such an opportune time, because this is not good, and she did not go through any healing process. Before she met him, she already had unresolved daddy issues from her parents. I will speak more on it later, but her parents were literally teenagers when they gave birth to her, and the father thought she wasn't his child. So she had unresolved daddy issues plus abuse, and then meeting a man who seems like the angel of light, her savior, coming to rescue her from everything that she has been through. She kept the sexual abuse hidden for 5 years until it came up with Derek Jackson. Like, talk about somebody to tell about your abuse. I don't know why she did not speak out. Maybe she was afraid of being shamed, or maybe fear, or she was afraid of being blamed, because people victim blame a lot. Like, why did you go to the house? Why were you there at this time of the night? Why didn't you shout? Even though she said she shouted, but then they were downstairs and then the music was playing upstairs, so nobody could hear her cries for help. So she didn't tell her mom, she didn't tell anybody. And I don't know if she wasn't that close to her mom, that's why she couldn't confide in her. So like I said, she met Derek 3 weeks, literally not even a month, 3 weeks after the incident, and she saw him as her saving grace, her savior. God literally sent him to rescue her from her trauma. A fine chocolate man who was a popular jock in college, footballer, who all the girls flocked to, wanted her, pimply, overweight. This is in her own words. But she was pimply, she was overweight, nerdy. Whoo! Sign me up. She said she basically fell in love with him in 3 days. Don't know how that is possible, but that's her words. So they were speaking from daybreak to night. She felt like she had known him forever, and he was meant to be in her life. And this is why, ladies, I tell you, I don't know if I've told you, but I tell people, and I'm going to make a video on it. But when you are starting to get to know somebody, or when you meet somebody, no matter how much you want to, set boundaries. Like, you say, I'm going to bed at 11, I'm going to bed at 10. So that's the end of our conversation. I cannot talk any longer. Because the more you keep talking, especially during the night, the more you keep talking, the more you get even more familiar with them. Before you're even familiar with them, you don't even know them yet, but then you feel like you know them because, oh, we've been talking so long for 3 days. We've been talking 12 to 12, 3 days. So you feel like you've known them for 30 years when it's just 3 days. Some men that want you to feel an attachment to them very fast, they use this trick a lot. So don't be tricked, okay? And even for my fellow men, not my fellow men, but my men, like, take time to get to know somebody. Do not rush into things. So no matter how much you want to talk to them, take your time. Okay, when she says it's time for her to go to sleep, let her go to sleep. And you too, you can also go to sleep. I mean, you have work tomorrow, you have school tomorrow. Don't use all that time talking. Especially when it's fresh, like 3 days situation. Like what? Because it can create a false or a fake sense of familiarity, like you've known them longer than you actually have. Especially if you don't talk to any other person, like if you don't have much friends, or you're not serial dating, or if you've been in a dark place for such a long time and you need somebody to pull you out. They were not exactly in a committed relationship, at least at the beginning, as she had to define what exactly is commitment. When he asks her, she'll be like, define commitment. I'll put a link for the full videos down below. You have to watch it. I loved it. It was more like he would sleep around because he has not put a title on it. Or even when he put a title on it, I don't think he really cares. So he would sleep around, and then she would catch him with videos on his phone, and she was not going to say anything about it because of a fear of abandonment. She's afraid that if she tells him, then she has to do something about it. You know what I mean? But since she could not do anything about it, like what she had to do, leave, she couldn't do that. So she would catch him. She would go around digging for it, catch him with videos on the phone, and then just cry. She would keep quiet about it because she knew if she brought it up, she would lose him. That's definitely soul crushing. Every time finding videos of other girls, what your man and other girls were doing on his phone. Oh my god. And does he even know how to hide anything well? Because why did she keep finding it? Like, she was trauma bonded to this guy because she met him in trauma. So she was trauma bonded to him and so tied to him because, well, they were sleeping together and everything like that. So trauma bond and so tied in one. Oh my gosh. And he's a narcissist. Oh Lord. Like, when the time I saw this man was a narcissist is when when the bonnet video came out, people started ridiculing him of literally holding his wife's hand and then proclaiming about how much he cheated on her and how proud he seemed of it. And he was reacting to the video like it's in third person, like it's not him that was sitting there doing it. Like,
men and women in this situation need to face consequences of their actions, deserve to be held accountable. Guess what? Derrick Jackson's no exemption. He's not exempt from that.
I was like, what's wrong with this guy? I pray. She sent him to church and everything, and it's in other parts of the video. I will touch on it too. And she sent him to church and everything, and he kind of turned over a new leaf, but I guess not. But I pray that he really finds God. I really pray so, because the man who did a podcast, My Future Wifey podcast, he also spoke about how he was a man who cheated on his wife several times in marriage, and now he's the man that is trying to help other men, like other women, speaking about what happened in their relationship, their marriages, and trying to help them turn over a new leaf and get better. So if God was able to do that for him, I pray God is able to do that for Derrick Jackson too. Like, no matter how much of a psychopath or a sociopath or a narcissist is, there's nobody that God cannot repair. There's nobody God cannot heal. So I pray that he seeks God and finds God, and God will heal him. I don't know what he went through for him to be like that, but it's not late. As long as he's alive, it's not too late. I think they were dating for 7 years or so. So they were together when they were 19, and then at 28, they got married. So they kept being off and on. And even during the off times, she'll still be sleeping with him. And this is what I keep saying. Like, if you are off, if you're on a break, why? Like, if you're going to keep sleeping with him, then why are you off? What is happening? Okay, so if you're going to be off, the thing is that I don't think she wanted to be off. I think she felt like she needed to be. I don't know what happened that they kept being off and on, off and on. Maybe the heartbreak was too much for her to bear. So she said, let me let you go. But then when she's trying to let him go, more heartbreak. So she kept getting closer and closer to him. That's what soul ties does to you. Like, people don't believe in soul ties. But even she said it herself that she was definitely soul tied to him. Like, she just couldn't leave him. Like paper that has been glued together. Like, it's hard to pull apart. She needed that love, whatsoever little love that she felt when she was around him. The feeling of, I have this person who is on my side. Even if everybody's against me, I have him. I have the love that I need. Whatever love or rising oxytocin that she gets from sleeping with him, she needed that. That's why she kept being drawn to him, no matter how temporary it was. And she was saying that sometimes after going for the appointment with him, she will pass by the stairway and see other girls. Oh my gosh, like their times would intertwine, especially if it had been going on for too long. And she'll see the girls on the stairway also going for their appointment. Like, this is ridiculous. This is literally ridiculousness. Like, how was she able to endure this? This is insanity. Was he the only man on campus? Like, what is happening with girls too? When they see a lot of girls like one man, then they all want to flock to that man to be the girl that won, the girl that he chose, to be the special girl. Just because other girls want him, they think he must be a dime or he must be worth something. But he's just out here playing all of you. And narcissists, they have the best game. So he must be really charming. She said he was very funny. So he must be very charming or something, because I don't get it. Yeah, he's kind of good looking, but okay. Seriously, girls, please, we have to do better. We have to do better. Please, let's set standards. You shouldn't be nobody's side chick or main chick. What is main chick? That's ridiculous. main chick, side piece. What are the other ones? Main meal, dessert, course. You should be the one and only. And we need to start setting boundaries. Like sister wives. What exactly is that? How many, like, there are billions of men on this earth. I know women are more than men, but still women. Let's do better. I literally question his mentality. Like, did he even have time for himself if he just kept doing this? How many different days for each girl? I guess this is polyamory or something. Even before it became a thing. Like, did he have time for himself? Like, how could he be rotating all these women, their soul ties, the bonds with other women, even with their physical diseases? What about spiritually? Like, whatever is going on with those women, it becomes his, and then Denia also will take it on because she's also sleeping with him. Imagine how depressed you must be. Imagine how bipolar you'll be. Like, you feel like you don't know who you are anymore. Like, all these, oh my gosh, all these different people. But yeah, let's move on. God really loves her. That's what I'll say. I feel like him being a narcissist is because of these kind of things too. He must have really felt on top of the world with all these girls fighting for him. Like, seriously, it may have started there or may have enriched there. And she also says sometimes she will involve herself in activities so that at least she feels like she's taking part and so that she doesn't feel left out. I know what you know what I mean. At first I was like, involve yourself. I didn't get it, but now I get it. So at least she's there and at least she doesn't have to. It's not like some other girl is taking him away from her. Oh my God, imagine her mentality. Oh God. I pray this does not happen to any of us girls, and I pray this does not happen to Denia again. And she said it was to the point I knew some of the women's bodies better than I knew my own. Yet she continued to be part of it. She continued to be part of his rotation and be involved willingly in everything that he was doing. And she also said, like, when she's studying the women and comparing them to herself, she said, I was in such a deep hole where I was studying these women. I'll go to their profiles, I'll study their pages, and like what they were. She actually liked it. Ish. I knew when they had met up. I watched their videos of them doing the do. So I'll try to imitate them and recreate that in our relationship so he could choose me. I wonder if he knew that she was trying to imitate them. Imagine going this far to imitate your man's, even the husband, when he was the husband's side chicks, trying to imitate them so that he could choose you. Women, a man will not choose a woman to marry just because of sexual stuff. He wouldn't. A man choosing a woman to marry based on very different things. Okay, if sexual act or whatever was what would make a man marry you, well, a lot of women will be married. Because women, they'll be learning how to put it down or whatsoever, like porn star level. Yeah, the man will never marry you. Why? Because that's not what exactly he's looking for. What a man looks for in a woman to marry, things like her femininity, things like, oh, I can take you this place and not feel embarrassed. Not who type kind of things. Things like even cooking. Yeah. Things like I can relax in you. I know that you are there for me. You are my emotional support. A woman that can understand him. A woman who vibes for him. A woman who pushes him to go forward. His motivation. Not, oh, I'm giving him money. I'm going to put it on him so much that he does not know what to do. He's never seen a girl like me and so he's going to marry me. No. These are not the kind of things a man looks for. A man that respects him. Those are the kind of things a man looks for in a woman to marry. So what she was doing here, trying to imitate the other woman, I mean, I guess it kind of worked out for her. But this was not the reason why he chose her though. I am pretty sure these are not the reason. Because I don't think he really cared about having every woman in one woman. When he could have every woman anyway. He didn't really care about that. So I don't think this was helping. And he probably knew. And found her really sad. She said, I'll sit in closets and I'll cry. But be in there wanting him to find me in the closet crying. And when he will come and find me in the closet crying, I will say, oh, I'm just crying because I miss my dad. Her dad died. I would always blame it on something else. But it's really because I just sat there and watch you have things with this woman and this woman and this woman. It's crazy how she knew all their names too. Oh my goodness. Imagine how much it will crush your self-esteem. That's why she couldn't have boundaries. Because once she set boundaries, she's going to lose him. Okay, so after everything, when she was still off with him, she got pregnant. I know, right? And after a whole lot of things that happened, he finally proposed. finally, he proposed. So I feel like he proposed because, like she said, he didn't want to really separate her from the baby. And I guess that's a good thing. He didn't say, oh, it might be some other guy's own or whatsoever. He actually wanted to be there for his child. So I actually do applaud him on that. I mean, even if he's a narcissist or a psycho or whatsoever, at least he wanted to be there for his children. So that's a good thing. So after he proposed, imagine how she must have felt. I have won. I am that woman. I've won over all you little girls. You guys have nothing on me. All the things I was doing for him has worked. The things I was giving to him, me being there, standing by his side for 7 years, enduring everything, that's finally worked out. Girl, not knowing those girls were actually the fortunate ones. No, marriage changed nothing. Marriage stopped nothing. At the beginning, it seemed like he was okay, but then, even if he was not doing it physically, he was still having such conversations with women. I don't know how long they were actually married for, that everything came out. But later, because this man, he's an influencer, content creator kind of person, life coach. He literally, that's why I say this man is a narcissist. I don't know what he is, but the advice he gives is literally against him. He gives advice to women of how to avoid going for F-boys, how to know your boundaries, how to set standards. He's literally talking about himself, yet he's not doing the same in his house. He literally put himself in a book for women to buy to prevent men like him. Like, that's insane. So one woman exposed him, saying he slept with over 11 women or something. I don't even know how she knew, but her name was Tasha K. She exposed him that he slept with 11 women. And then he brought his wife on camera to speak about it. If it were me, I would never. But the wife looked tired. And this is when all the memes and people making fun of her started. The woman was bashed. She was totally bashed. And people kept saying because she didn't look after herself, that's why he keeps going for other women. Imagine. Okay, so we're coming to watch some of the clips of her when she was doing the interview.
That day, was that a day of wedded bliss? Were you happy that you try to put everything behind the veil and said, I'm going to put all the past behind us. We're going to start afresh. We're going to start anew. And I am now Mrs. Jackson. Call me Miss Jackson.
Mrs. Jackson.
Yes. All of the above. No, I was so excited to be getting married. And again, my mentality at that time is more like, I'm getting married. Everything is like my dream wedding.
And I won.
And so everything is falling.
I forgot to speak about this, but because he's a content creator, influencer, whatever he does, he gets the money, he gets the cash. So that must also be another reason why she kept being with him. And I guess that's even more reason that even more women kept coming after college. So it became worse because this one, he does not even going to have to look for them. The women will just keep coming because he's popular, he's famous, he's handsome. All the women want him. He seems to be good, giving good advice. So he's a good candidate for a man. So of course, all the women want the same thing. So because she was not used to such a lifestyle that she started to get, that will even propel her to stay even more longer.
Yes.
Basically, he spoke to her about the number of women he slept with. I think this is since he met her. His body count basically, but this is not the whole list. But how do people find this amount of people? Like, let's move on.
So he had to make a list, and so he made a list of women, so everything that he could recollect, and there was nearly 100 women on there.
Did you hear that? 100 women since she was 19, since they were 19, 100. And this is not his entire body count. This is what he could remember. I'm surprised he does not have even more children. Look, how is that possible? Because even if it's 100 women, of course it's over 100 women. But even if it's 100 women, they're so tight. You are bonding to each and every woman. And sex is not just physical. Spiritual, emotional, mental, spiritual. I've spoken about it in other videos. Bonding with these women in such a way. So that's why I'm thinking about his mentality. That's why it's hard for her to break free from him. Because this is crazy. God is the one that has really healed her, because this kind of thing, unless God delivers you, you will never release yourself. And that's why her husband had to divorce her, because she would have never divorced him.
Why y'all, you talking about in his lifetime, or you talking about why y'all were dealing with each other?
19.
He wrote down 100 names.
Yes.
is I'm gonna be a very present husband, but you have to allow me. I'm a man of means. You have to allow me to have sex with multiple women as I see fit. Can you agree with that?
What Bible verse is that?
We ain't gonna go by no Bible verses. The book of Derek. Or do you agree with this?
On my page where it's like, I have a post that says, I knew her body better than I knew my own.
She knew her body better than she knew her own. Imagine how much you may have studied this woman and looked at this woman to know somebody else's body more than your own. Oh my gosh.
Stop. Let that sit there.
He shook it. Her face. Oh my gosh.
You said you knew another woman's body better than you knew your own.
Yes, several women. I knew several other women's bodies better than I knew my own, and I spent a lot of time. Like I went in such a deep hole where I was like studying these women. I would go to their profiles and I would study their pages and like what they wear. I knew when they had met up. So I watched their videos of them having sex. So I would try to imitate that and recreate that in our relationship so that he could choose me and want me.
Choose me. This is exactly what I was trying to say. Trying to recreate whatever he's doing with them girls so that he chooses you. This is just sad. Did she even enjoy whatever was happening? Like, what is happening? Because she wanted to be chosen so much because of her abandonment issues from her dad, from her parents, from the world. Basically, because she said she was basically a nerd and she did not feel beautiful, so she wouldn't be getting guys like that. Maybe, I don't know. But if such a guy that everybody wants her, then she wanted him to also want her as much and wanted him to choose her. But this is why she needed to find God, because God, he has already chosen her. He just needed her to accept him back.
So I had actually started a little journey on Instagram at the time with like losing weight. I had lost 66 pounds. I told you I had enrolled. Thank you. I had enrolled in therapy. So my therapist is like helping me through this time as I'm losing weight. And I'm like, yeah, I'm becoming a better person, a better woman. I'm becoming more secure, like in myself and confident in myself. Look at all this weight I just lost. I've been putting this work in. I'm fine.
After 2 kids.
2 whole kids. I'm looking fine. Okay. And then it was at that point I'm like, I want to start traveling with you. I'm going on tour with you. So then listen, I was not always saved. Okay. So there's, when you have a husband that is in the spotlight, women feel like they can do whatever they want. They can talk to him how they can touch however they want. Oh, you're so fun. These little touches turn into something else.
Some more touches.
Other touches. There's a woman that was bold enough to sit on his lap.
Can you imagine? I know most people, they don't know he was married. But how can you just go and sit on somebody's lap? Because he's famous and because, well, you want him. Like, woman, we have to do better. And his whole wife was there. Like, imagine what you had to go through being a college jock. At least a small amount of people knew him and wanted him, the woman. But now he's famous all over the country. And now she had to deal with an even bigger pool of women. Oh my goodness. Denia, she has suffered. She has suffered. This is insane.
I had some issues, just with the complexion.
Yeah, there's one too. So she has an issue with her daughter's complexion. Because basically his preference were dark-skinned girls. Like chocolate kind of girls. And she is a bit on the lighter side. So when her daughter came out, her daughter took his skin complexion. Basically, she was dark skin, very nice, smooth chocolate color. So because of that, she could not even bond well with her daughter, because she was seeing the other girls in the daughter, like the other girls had won in that aspect, even though she felt like she had won because she had married him. But I guess the other girls had snatched her daughter away from her. Imagine, that's how deep rooted the abuse she had gone through was, how deep rooted the trauma was.
Of our daughter, because that was the type of woman that he would go after. And I'm not dark, like super dark skinned woman, and our daughter's like a little chocolate little princess. She has it, and I'm just like, how does she look like the women that he wants?
Wow, that's deep.
How does she look like the women that he wants and he desires and he loves? Like, I don't understand. It's like they had her even though I carried her.
They had her even though I carried her. This is the video that they did when he brought her out. I think it was 2 years ago. to speak about whatever was happening.
Here, and today I am joined by my lovely wife, Danae.
He's holding her hand. When I watched it at first, right, I felt like, I wanted something to remove the hand. Look, oh my Lord.
Marriage is one that was preceded by a marriage that I completely failed. And I would say it just started around August, maybe September of last year. But, a lot has been said already about what was the cause and all that other stuff. Some of it is true. Some of it is completely false. But the truth
Look at her face.
here now is that Derek Jackson was involved with other women outside the marriage. And by involved, I want to be clear. I'm not talking about just casually kicking it, maybe a lunch or something like that.
He's
I'm
proud.
about as serious as sex. To sexual flirtation and meeting up and that kind of thing, and some things that otherwise may be considered okay by some.
It looks sorrowful
like
at all.
Chatting or checking on people or being checked on by people that I've had a previous encounter with, but without my wife's knowledge of it and with us having a sexual history, all of it falls under the umbrella of inappropriate, cheating, affair, stepping out.
She said that it just opened up the wounds, even though she knew already.
And definitely not in alignment with the biblical standard of what it means to be faithful, which is the standard that I'm going by now. Now, I'm saying this publicly, not because I'm, married to you guys.
But why were you doing that? Why are you still doing that?
Then I have to be accountable to my wife, in which we've already had this conversation. I've already told her literally everything. I've given her basically a roll call list. If I've said hello to a woman in the last 12 years of me knowing her, she knows about it. But now that it's been made so public, it's important that I first off let you guys know I do not stand by those actions. I don't want to encourage anybody to do that. And then secondly, I know that I cannot build a platform preaching certain things, preaching against certain things, and then in my real life live contrary to that for any amount of time or any length of time to any extent and think that I can't be held accountable. The same way that I preach, men and women in this situation need to face consequences of their actions, deserve to be held accountable. Guess what? Derek Jackson's no exemption.
And the way
he's not exempt from that.
You see how he said his name, Derek Jackson.
Nobody made me do this. She didn't make me or push me to do it. The next person didn't make me. No friend
Looks scared.
Me. It don't matter
Like, how can she even say her mind?
Whatever. Look, I made decisions. I made a series of decisions that I got to account for. There's no excuse or justification. I've already made that.
Leave her alone. Like, ugh.
And now we're finally getting on to the other side personally in our own healing, in our own marital oneness. And now this is being made public to you guys. So we're bringing that forth to you guys to let you know where we're at with that. But did you want to say anything?
Yes, so I do want to just add that
Girl, you're lying.
There is no justification for bringing other women into our marriage on any level. And it was unacceptable, and it's not something that I
imagine enduring 12 years of this.
Forward. And when I've been flooded again with messages and these things and about, I need to leave or why haven't I left? And the answer is, when I found out about it, I left.
Okay, so yes, this is basically the video, and I just kept, I'm like, release a hand, but well. And then I don't know if you've seen the mistress that he went to take after the wife. They are not even divorced yet because the divorce proceedings have not happened, so he's still a married man. Girls, why are you going after married men? If he has his own, look, like the Bible says, whatever you sow, so you reap. Even if she's not the cause for his divorce, however, a lot of things will be the cause. But why would you go for a man that is still married? A man that has a reputation of doing such harm to his wife. And you think you are going to be the special woman that he will change for? This is giving future. See how women keep flocking to him, even though he has shown time and time again he's not going to change. He's not going to take you seriously. But every woman feels like they are going to be that woman that will change him. So that's why they keep going more, and then keep coming out with babies or heartbroken. Women, we need to do better. We have to avoid. It's time to avoid such F-boys. There are nice guys out there. There are men that will treat you right, treat you like the queen that you deserve. Stop going for guys like this. What made her the perfect victim for a narcissist? So number one, her parents. So the parents were teenagers themselves. They didn't know themselves. They were babies. And she had daddy issues from the parents. Because their father thought she was not his child. I don't know, maybe because the mother was 16 and he was 18. He wasn't as present for her. Because let's get real. They were basically children. Okay. And they had to make ends meet to look after her, I guess, finances and everything. So she might not have felt the love and attention that she needed from her parents. And so that's when her abandonment issues may have started. A lot of that is similar to the case study I did on Maddie. click the link above and you'll be able to watch it. It's a very good case study. And I'm going to do even further on Euphoria, Cassie, Rue, and further on. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Don't disregard how much a moment of fun can lead to toxic consequences for generation and after generation after generation. Her mother and her father, and even probably their mother and father, they may have thought, oh, it's just a one-time thing. It's just we're having fun. But look, they gave birth to a child, and then they affected her, made her deal with such abandonment issues, and that led to her going for a guy like Derrick Jackson. And now her children, whatever trauma that she was going through, it will not happen to them in Jesus' name. But like how she feels about her chocolate child. Imagine if it was not God that healed her, and she continued to hold that trauma of her being like the girls that the husband wants. Imagine how much trauma will be inflicted on that child, and then to keep going on and going on for generations. These are what generational patterns is. Guys, we need to be mindful of what we do with our lives, not just for ourselves but for our future and for our children. Number 2, neglect from the parents, finances. Like when she saw the luxury life that Derrick Jackson was able to provide for her, with him being a YouTuber, a life coach and everything, it made it even harder for her to leave, because she's not used to that kind of thing. Like a fine man who is there for her or whatsoever and can provide for her. She just needed to stay at home while he was doing everything, bringing the dough. Who wouldn't want that? For him, he chose her and he kept being with her because he knew she was the only one who would put up with whatever he was doing. I mean, he could have every other woman whilst coming home and having a woman, if he wanted anything, emotional support, because she's such a classy, well-spoken woman. He can speak to her about anything that he wants. He can get it anytime he wants because she's at home. You see, so why wouldn't he want that? He was basically a married man, but he was also single at the same time because she had no boundaries. Abuse when she was sexually assaulted. The lack of self-esteem from having acne and being nerdy and feeling like nobody wanted her, and so she getting the rejection. She basically made him the prize. No knowing what boundaries were, no knowing how to set boundaries or standards, fearing that if she set boundaries or standards, she's going to lose him. So she didn't set any. Not taking time to heal. And this is something that we Gen Zers especially, we are corporate of. I've heard of people saying that if you want to get over somebody, you get under another. What? So you won't heal. You just get into another relationship to forget the other person. And if the other person hurts you, what? You get into another relationship again. Like what? I made another video on this. So I think it was on my Soul Ties video. I'll link it above for you to watch. You need time to heal. Give yourself time to heal before getting into another relationship and sending your problems. Even if the person is not toxic like Derrick Jackson, if you have problems, you'll be sending your problems to the other person. And then what would he do? You have to bear your problems, and then you even make it hard for him. You become the toxic one for him because you've not healed yourself. So make sure you heal. Get out of the dating market. No matter what has happened, heal. Speak to somebody. What she needed to do was she needed to speak to her mom about it. I know it will be hard, and I'm not trying to condemn her for being such a victim, but she needed to speak to her mom, and they needed to speak to the police about it and arrest that guy because she didn't know God yet. But speak to God about it and speak about how much you've endured, how much abuse you've gone through, and how you feel. And God is going to be there for you. He's not going to leave you alone, not knowing God. Like I said, because she didn't know God and she didn't have a relationship with him that time, she couldn't go to him for help. She couldn't go to him when she felt like there was nobody in the world for her and everybody was not on her side, because she didn't know him. And so what helped her? She got to know God. And even though she became a bit too much, like when people thought she was cursing people when she quoted Psalm 109, but she was not really cursing people. She was just saying that things that will happen if you go against her and her marriage, which was like, girl, you should be saying that to your husband. But okay, that's another news.
Let your children become fatherless. Let your seed become vagabonds on the earth. It go down your throat and choke you slowly until your days become few on the earth. The word of God says, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. You've been warned. To know where that is at in the Bible, go to Psalm 109 and keep our names out of your mouth in the name of Jesus. Have a blessed day.
When people thought she was crazy and they were cursing them. So that made it even harder to side with her, because people were like, oh, she's crazy and she's cursing her, so why should we side with her? So she deserves whatever her husband is doing to her. So what helped her? She got to know God. She got to have a relationship with God. And that's why she said herself, like, she did not commit suicide or anything. Because if it was not God that was holding her and her children, she knew she had to be there for her children. She would have been gone from this world long time ago. So when everybody was literally speaking against her and bashing her. And therapy got her to be able to open up her wounds and speak about whatever was worrying her. And also she took time to heal, and even now she's healing. Even though the husband has moved on to the pinky loves and all of her mistresses, and he's not giving himself time to heal, she is taking time to heal. I feel like she's not in a she says she's not going to get into a relationship right now, and she doesn't need to. This has been a 12-year affair of all sort of wahala. So this is the time for her to focus on herself, focus on her children, and focus on God. And God is going to open doors for her future marriage, future husband, a man that will sincerely love her, and a man that she doesn't have to send such wounds to because he does not deserve it. So she needs to focus and heal. Okay. And that's what I want for you too, my royal babes. Coming on the video, even though it led to her being bashed for her bonnet, even though it was like a hat, it worked out for her good. Because after that, after she cursed people or whatsoever because they were bashing her, her husband divorced her. And she's able to have a platform now to share her testimony and is able to help other people. Because she's able to share her testimony, I'm able to also speak to you women so that you don't have to go through the same thing. And you men too, so that you don't have to be like men like Derrick Jackson. And she's helping everybody, using her testimony to help everybody. And also she started taking care of herself. She lost 66 pounds, taking better care of herself, both physically and spiritually. And I pray that she's able to heal, and I pray healing upon his life too, that everything will be good for them. So the next video is coming up in 1, 2. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, my royal babes, and I'll see you in the next video coming up.
For God so loved you that he gave his only son, so you and I will believe in him and not perish, but have everlasting life.